people, and welcome back to Divulge Talk Show. My name is Mabandi and I am your host. Please note that this is not season 2. This is just a Thursday Thoughts video I have decided to do as more like a last video for this year. And I decided to talk about discernment, intuition, and aura. And I also said learn to pay attention to them. Now, just a quick disclaimer, I'm not a theologist, a psychologist, or a scientist, but everything that I'm going to talk about today is based on personal experience and, of course, research. The reason why I chose this topic because I felt and I know that discernment and listening to intuition is part of our lives, and it is something that we need to take note each and every day, and it is something that drives us to making decisions, whether they are right or wrong. And we live in a world whereby there's just so much noise in this digital world, in terms of we're just flooded with information as this generation. And sometimes if you're not able to discern, if you're not able to listen to your intuition, if you're not able to sense the aura around everything that is happening in this world, you will fail to tell right from wrong or to distinguish truth from lies. And yeah, that is why I think discernment is a very important aspect of our lives. And yeah, that's what I'm talking about today. So, have you ever been in a situation whereby you made a wrong choice or a mistake, and you knew you were not supposed to make that choice or mistake at all, and that is because you decided to ignore your discernment, or you actually lacked it? So many times as young people, or as people in general, it doesn't matter which age, we tend to make choices and we know that we're not supposed to do these things that we involve ourselves in, because we either ignore our intuition or we lack it. So sometimes having the ability to listen to your discernment or intuition, or sensing your aura, that is the energy around you, is very important, so that you know whether or not to do this thing, to avoid silly mistakes that happen in life, because life happens and life happens a lot. Or have you ever walked into a room full of people and you can tell that the energy in this room is it's off? The people don't seem to be interested, or you just feel like there's something going on, there's tension, it's not flexible. That's because you can tell the energy. Now, when we talk about the energy, that's when aura comes in. You can tell that something is different, and your sense of discernment is able to decipher your surroundings. In science, they call it aura, and this is the distinctive atmosphere or quality that seems to surround and be generated by a person, thing, or place. So I'm going to be using these words interchangeably, because they do they do kind of mean the same thing in a way, but I'm pretty sure I understand what I mean when I'm talking about listening to intuition. Just listening to that voice that's telling you, no, don't do this, or yes, you have to do this. That's what I mean when I say discernment, intuition, or your aura. And I know that whenever we hear the word discernment, we quickly align it to God and spiritual things. And I do believe that to a certain extent it is true. However, discerning is not only about the whole spiritual thing, and all that. This is actually when our bodies communicate with us to alert us of whatever that is happening, be it good or bad. Like we all have an interior dialogue, right? Whereby you talk to yourself concerning whatever that's happening in your life. And when you talk to yourself, during that process of talking to yourself, now you have these thoughts and feelings and desires. All these have a relationship with our bodies. In other words, our bodies, our senses in our bodies, our spiritual lives and our soul communicate with our bodies, and that's when we are able to have this internal dialogue, and we are able to sort of come to terms to whatever we are feeling. We come to a place where we can sense whether something is good or bad. So discernment refers to the ability to judge well, the quality of being able to grasp and comprehend what is obscure, which is uncertain. It is an act of perceiving or discerning or sensing something. So Also, discerning, some people like to call it your inner voice, your gut feeling, which is like the human instinct, your aura, your energy, vibe, and some like to call it the Holy Spirit. It is something we all need in life. There is no way you can tell yourself that you don't need to listen to your intuition. That is impossible. So many things that have happened to our life and where we are today is because we've learned to listen to our intuition. And sometimes we've ignored our intuition, and maybe it has led to some of the things which in some cases is bad. And yeah, so we all need this spirit of discernment, whatever it is in life, mostly just to navigate our lives. Like I said earlier, to distinguish right from wrong, to distinguish, truth from lies, depending on whatever is happening in your surroundings and in your world. It is very essential. And I also feel like discernment helps us to enable us to get through life and to make the choices that are good for us. For example, if you make a choice and you feel peace about it, it's because you've listened to your discernment and you've listened to your intuition. If we ignore it, we are probably set for disaster, or we can hurt ourselves and those surrounding us. Remember, sometimes the choice that we make is not only about us. Whatever choice I make today will definitely affect my family, would affect my friends. So if I am choosing to listen to my intuition, to sense the aura or the energy around me, and I follow suit and it brings forth good in my life, then even my surroundings, become good. But if I decide to ignore it and then I make the wrong choices and I fall and then I'm set for disaster or something like that, then it does not only affect me, but it affects the people that surround me. That's why I keep emphasizing that it's a very important thing to, to just intentionally get to it, if that makes sense. At times as human beings, we have a tendency of dismissing our instincts and saying that, oh, it's just my mind, or I'm overthinking this thing. Trust me, I have been there, and I am still doing it till this day. I do have moments where I feel like I'm probably overthinking things, or it's just my mind. And later on I realized, no, it was actually my intuition. My body was communicating with me, and I was supposed to do this, or I was supposed to say this. And at the end of the day, I'm just like, oh shucks, man, I should have known. I mean, I knew, but I dismissed it and I ignored it. So we do have a tendency, but we're not perfect. It's also a journey whereby you need to learn how your discernment works, are you quick to discern? Are you quick to listen to your intuition? Are you quick to sense if your aura has shifted or anything like that? So, and also as spirit beings, we are spirit beings. I hope you guys do understand that as human beings, we are spirit beings, and our spirit and soul have a way in which it communicates with our physical bodies. I do believe that everything that happens in this earth starts in the spirit. So whatever that happens in the spirit, it will manifest in the physical. Let's take, for example, affirmations, right? We are always being told you need to speak things into manifestation. So when you start telling yourself that you are beautiful or you are successful, it starts in the spirit, and then it's going to manifest into the physical, because now you have this sort of communication between the spirit and the physical world, something like that. And it's the same thing with discernment. Whatever that is about to happen in your life starts in the spirit. And now, because we are spirit beings, it communicates to our physical bodies, and that's when our emotions and our souls are now in tune, and our mind, and then we're just able to sense that something good is about to happen. People always talk about, oh, I can feel like this is going to be like a good year for me. Like, it's actually their intuition telling them that something great is going to happen. And in most cases, something great happens because already your body is already starting to communicate with you. It feels like you can tell the future even though you don't know exactly what is happening. So that's just the whole aspect of discernment, intuition, and aura. Also another example about discernment and our bodies communicating with us is if you've gone through a traumatic time in your life. Take, for example, you were 2 years old and you were involved in a car accident, and after that car accident you don't remember going through that car accident, even though you were told about it, but you just don't remember. And let's say years down the line, now you're 25 and you go through a car accident. At times, the way your body reacts can make you question, why am I reacting like that? I know it is very normal for people to go through traumatic experiences. An accident, you will definitely have trauma, but at times, because our bodies record certain things that happen to us from an early age, that's why you have childhood traumas, whereby at times you unconsciously project certain things because of something that might have happened to you when you're younger. And because our bodies communicate, they project, they record, that is just a whole lot of intertwined integration of discernment and communication and energy shifts and all that. Like I said, I'm not a scientist. A scientist or a psychologist can probably explain it better than I am, but it's just so that you can just understand how and why we are able to sense certain things if they're about to happen, or sense energy around or within, or within people and all those kind of things. That's just what it's all about when we talk about discernment. Another example that I can give is when you meet someone for the first time, it's either you connect or you disconnect, or you disconnect and then you connect later, or you connect and then you disconnect later. So it's always a shift of energies, always a shift of people always change, growth and all that. And I can give a personal example. I remember back in high school, there was this person, and I remember I just didn't connect with her at all. Not that she ever did anything to me, like we had never interacted, but we both just didn't connect. And I'm not saying we didn't connect in the sense that we hated each other or exchanged words. No, I personally just kept a distance from her because I just felt like, I don't like this girl, And I don't know why those things happen, but our bodies always are in tune with whatever that is happening. Perhaps there was something that was in her that didn't align with me, or there was something in me that didn't align with her. And it happens, it happens that you might disconnect with someone, but later on in life you might connect with someone as well. I've also gone through that. And then of course just a whole aspect of discerning and listening to intuition and etc. Like I said, I'm going to be using these words interchangeably so that you can just know the dynamics and how they come together as well. So our sense of discernment or energy are there to just tell us if energy is being reciprocated whenever we meet people. That is why we form friendships, we form relationships, because of just that energy. It's a natural thing that God gave us as human beings, and therefore we are able to get through it. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to give you guys a personal example, right, of something that happened a few months ago. So I got offered a job, and I remember in the process of this person talking to me about this job, I just went shocked. I was just like, I don't feel this job. But then I told myself I'm overthinking again. I dismissed my intuition, and I told myself I'm overthinking and I just need to get the job. Who wants to say no to a job offer? You need the money, of course. And I needed the money, but I knew that something was wrong, but I accepted the job offer. And then I told this person, like, yeah, sure, I will definitely come through. After communicating with that person, my whole day was ruined. I couldn't study, I couldn't go by my daily routine, and my mood just went I just couldn't at all. And sleeping was very impossible for me. Throughout the night, I would just wake up and just be like, what is wrong? What is happening? I tried praying. It didn't really work. I just could feel like something's wrong. And even in my dreams, sleeping, there was just something wrong. I would just wake up, sleep. And I remember I woke up the next day in the morning and I just was like, yo, I can't accept the job offer. I gave a valid reason, and I just told that person, I honestly can't take this job because you know what? No, I didn't say you know what. Personally, like in my head, in my heart, I was just like, something is off. And then months down the line till now, even when I reflect, I'm just like, I see why my intuition and my discernment and my aura was saying no, don't take that job. And at times we feel like we have to take every opportunity that comes in our way. It will look good, which is very true. It does look good. But listening to intuition is very important, guys, because it's your body telling you. I feel like somehow our bodies can predict the future. even though we cannot see it as it is, but somehow it just communicates with us. That's why you can feel like, no, I shouldn't do this. And at times you realize, you shouldn't. Another example, I actually remember this other time. I was supposed to go grocery shopping, right? It was month end and my mom was like, you know what, go get some stuff for the house. And I remember I woke up that day, I bathed and I just stood. After bathing, I was just like, I don't feel like going to the grocery shops. But I ignored this intuition. I ignored my discernment, and I was just like, heck yeah, what could go wrong? And I went to the shops. And I kid you not, when I got there, I got robbed. A whole 400 rand was gone. And coming back home, I think 2 days later, that's when I was like, oh my goodness, is that why I didn't feel like going to the shops? Because something kept fighting me, don't go out. But I was just like, oh well, I'm going out. So these are the small, teeny, tiny things that happen in our lives, and we tend to ignore them. Or at times we don't ignore them, and we can see the result, and we have our answers at the end of the day. So another thing is discernment is linked to wisdom. Situations whereby people tend to be like, oh, if you're talking to this person, please be wise and just sense. Have a discerning spirit so that you do not offend this person. So discernment is also linked to wisdom, and it's very important that it's not only about your choice or what is about to happen in your life, but it's also about our human interaction. If you have a friend, if you have a socialization, and whatever relationships you have, you need to have a sense of discernment. You need to be able to sense the aura. What is the energy between you and this person that you are interacting with? You need to be wise when you're addressing certain issues, so that you know that I'm not gonna offend this person or anything like that. Right? And then another thing that is aligned or connected to discernment is the Holy Spirit. I am a Christian, and I love to talk about my belief and my Christianity in my videos, if you've noticed. And in connection to discernment, intuition, and aura, we have what we call the Holy Spirit. Now, like I said, God created each and every one of us with this natural gift of having an intuition or an instinct whereby you're able to tell right from wrong. So the Holy Spirit is now there to amplify this God-given gift, right? And basically the Holy Spirit is just there to amplify, and he's much more accurate. I do have moments whereby I can probably sense that something is wrong, and at times I don't want to quickly jump into conclusions. And being a Christian, I always go back to God and pray, like, yo, Jesus, what's happening over here? Because I'm kind of feeling this way. And when I just pray and just like meditate on the word, then it's up to me to intentionally just keep quiet and listen to what the Holy Spirit is saying, to amplify, to confirm this feeling that I have. It could also be a good feeling where I feel good about something. I also still have to go back to God and pray. And if God confirms it, then I'm just like, all right, kudos. Let's continue. So that's just how it works when it comes to the whole discernment, intuition, and aura. So I just want to give you guys 5 points as to why we need discernment. Why is it that you need to be able to listen to your intuition? So the first one is our intuition and discernment help us to know right from wrong. I mentioned this. Like, to a certain extent, you know that this is not my right path. This is not really the career that I'm supposed to choose. In many cases, you hear people talk about, I knew that I wasn't supposed to take law, but I just took it. Maybe because of your parents, because of pressure, because of peer pressure, or because you're just stubborn, So you dismissed your discernment. So the reason why we need discernment is it helps us to distinguish right from wrong. And the other point is it gives us confidence to persevere in faithfulness to the commitments we choose. So whatever commitment you choose, whatever you are committed in, having a discernment spirit will help you to persevere. So if you're committed to this career, to this degree that you're in, to this friendship or relationship, discernment will help you to persevere. It will guide you through each and every step in whatever you are committed to in your life. And then number 3, it helps us to enhance our senses and instincts. So the moment you're able to constantly listen to your discernment, learn more about yourself, you enhance this instinct. It's like you're sharpening your intuition. You are sharpening your ability to be able to sense the aura or the energy around you. So that's why it's very important to take note of your discernment. Another thing is discernment keeps us right on track with our lives. It's kind of similar to just choosing right from wrong. You are able to just be in the right track. Because if you're able to know that this is the right path because you're listening to intuition, you're on the right track. And it also, and the last point is, it helps us to trust ourselves more. When you're able to listen to your discernment and you see the results, you tend to trust yourself more. There's so many examples I can give when it comes to my life, which I can't delve into today, but I have gotten to a place whereby I am able to trust myself. I'm not there yet. I'm not 100%, but I know if I feel a certain way, I have to go back and I have to reflect and I have to think, why do I feel like this? There's a reason why you feel whatever you feel concerning whatever that is happening into your life. It's very important, okay? So those are the 5 reasons why you need to discern, why you need to listen to intuition. So how do you become better at discerning? So this is based on personal experience. The first one is always listen to your heart and the energy your body produces. No matter how the circumstances look, the heart and body will never lie. I know people talk about how sometimes the heart can be deceiving. I think it's quite true, but I feel like at times our heart tell us the truth. They tell us that this is right or wrong, but our minds tell us otherwise, and as well as our emotions, because our emotions and our minds are aligned, which can disrupt the heart at times. But there's always that deeper, like your heart may be disrupted, but there's always a deeper feeling, the deepest intuition inside of you that is telling you, bro, don't. But then we just, oh well, what could go wrong? And at the end of the day, something goes wrong. Another thing is, if you want to become better at discerning, if you're struggling to discern, try to spend time in a quiet place without distractions and allow your spirit to get in tune with your mind, body and soul, so that you know whether to proceed with whatever that is going on. Remember, I talked about how your spirit and your soul communicate with your physical body. So whenever you're in a quiet place, because I know this personally, whenever something is going on and I can't wrap my head around it, I like to shut everything down. I like to usually let's say I just switch off my phone. I just have like an hour or 2 where I'm just like quiet. And I just close the door in my room and I'm just like trying to figure out, is this what I want? Especially when I feel like I'm all over the place. Is this really what I want, And I think about it throughout. I obviously pray about it and I think about it, and I just want time to myself before I'm able to proceed. And at the end of the day, I also weigh. And I'm more of like a writer person, right? So usually when I'm going through something and I like to write the pros and the cons. Based on how I feel, I try to analyze, I try to as well listen to the Holy Spirit and all that, and I like to take my time. It's not a one-day thing. It can take a week, it can take 2 weeks, it can take a month. It's just important to just have yourself time in order for you to listen to intuition, because I kid you not, a lot of things can disrupt our intuition. Social media can do that. I love TikTok, so sometimes you have a lot of people saying a lot of things. So it's very important to come back to yourself and not listen to social media, and listen to yourself, because that's very much important. So that's another way. Spend time with yourself in a very quiet place. Another time, spend time with God. As a Christian, I feel like the more time you spend with God, the more He trusts you with His Holy Spirit. Because remember, I said that the Holy Spirit amplifies our sense of discernment, intuition, and aura. The Holy Spirit amplifies the energy. When you're with someone, He can tell you that, hey, girl, it ain't looking good. Or you can feel peace. Like He can give you peace. For me, let me tell you something, right? For me, whatever happens in my life, whoever I associate myself with, if I feel peace about whatever it is or about someone, I know, like almost 100%, I know that this is in the right path. Even if later on I don't feel peace about it, I know that probably there's a shift, because remember, there's a time for everything, there's a season for everything, and some things are meant to last forever. Yeah, kudos. But peace, if you feel peace, then you are on the right track. But always just try to reassure yourself and to make sure you are 100% about whatever it is. The other point is, do not rush to tell your friends or family about something, because they can disturb or distract your discernment by clouding it with thoughts and emotions. And I do understand that we do have people that are close to us that we are always like, oh my goodness, I need to tell them. For example, personally, whatever happens in my life, the first person I want to tell is my mom. But it's very important to be aligned with yourself. Are you satisfied? How do you feel about those things that's happening? Because at times our friends and family can say no, and yet it's supposed to be a yes, or they can say yes and sometimes supposed to be a no. I don't want you to misinterpret this, because I do understand that friends and family do play a role in helping us to make good decisions and motivating us and stuff like that. But it's all about balance. It's all about discernment, rather. It's about intuition. At times, God can use your family's intuition and discernment for the sake of for you to get your answer, and vice versa, that kind of a thing. So it's just very important, just to know where you stand and all that. And yeah, just listening to yourself first before you go to your friends and family. And then the last one is, never doubt yourself. If something feels off, it's off. And if it feels right, it is right. But at the end of the day, we're human, and it's a journey, and discernment is very important. Your instincts are very important, intuition, aura, etc. All those things are very important, but it is a learning curve, and we need to learn about our discerning skills. Learning about your discerning skills is like learning about yourself. There's so many things that you learn about yourself each and every day, on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. It's the same thing. And it's all about sharpening your discerning skills and sharpening your instinct skills. And that way you are able to get better. I mean, I personally want to get better. It is a journey for me as well. And having to talk about this topic has enabled me to learn more about what it means to discern, and reflecting on my past experiences and thinking and all those kind of things, listening to other people's stories when I was like watching on YouTube and doing research, made me realize that, hey, this thing is very important. Because sometimes you might think you just go, it's not about going with the flow, you guys. I know that sometimes it is like, oh, it is what it is, let's go with the flow, but it's not about that. It's about listening to what is your instinct telling. What is the Holy Spirit saying? What is God saying about your life, as He wants to amplify your thoughts and everything like that. So that's everything that has to do with discernment and all those kind of things. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys have learned something, because I have. If you have anything that you'd like to add, whatever opinion, comment, you can just comment it down below. And what else? Now that it is the end of the year, perhaps you can also take this topic into 2023 and intentionally, tell yourself that one of my resolutions is to sharpen my discernment skills, to listen more to me and not just to do things and end up falling into a dungeon or whatever it is. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you guys have what is it that I want to say? I'll cut this part. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your holidays. I hope you enjoy your new year. Stay safe and be safe, and see you guys in next time. Bye. Yeah.